the first thing I want to come out and do is I want to talk about this Amber Heard stuff. So there's insurance. There's insurance. Now, I think this was something we were speculating on during the trial, and people were just blowing me the fuck up. They were like, Andrew, how about the homeowner's insurance? What's going to happen with the homeowner's insurance? You know, are they going to pay for it? Are they not going to pay for it? And I was very fucking clear, and I think Valiant was on too, and he's worked in the same industry, right? And it's very fucking clear with insurance. If you commit a willful crime, that is, if you act with malice or willful conduct, meaning you knowingly do something you know is wrong, the insurance is not going to cover you. There's a difference between negligence, that is doing something accidentally, maybe it's your fault, but it's really on the side of what you call an accident. Maybe it's a dumb accident, but it's on the side of an accident, versus maliciously doing something, saying, I know what the law is, and I'm going to break it anyways. I'm going to go and break it anyways. I think that's a big material difference for insurance. Every single policy, I've never seen an insurance policy that would cover somebody if they do something maliciously. Because if you did, imagine if you covered somebody for a malicious act. Well, murder is a malicious act. What insurance company would cover murder? How about going up and shooting up a crowd? That would be a malicious act. Is that covered? No, not at all. And just in the same way, Amber Heard's acts were malicious. So let's get into the news here. And by the way, shout out to everybody. Guys piling in right now. Appreciate the likes, guys. We are at 225. If you guys would get that up to 400, I would love it. That's the biggest thing you can do for me, because that will get me there. And I will even say the oi, oi, oi to get it up there, guys. I will pander to my Aussies because I know there are a lot of Aussies out there. But that smashing that like button is free. You don't have to super chat me. Smash that like button is free. All right. So let's get to the actual story here on Amber. Let's chomp in on this hoe. So right here, we got Amber Heard. She's a blow as the insurance company won't want to pay Johnny Depp damages. So I'm going to read the article first, and then we're going to go into the actual document. I just want to give a background here. So another blow for Amber Heard is an insurance company doesn't want to pay the damages. This is from the New Zealand Herald. So, I mean, the Kiwis can write. That's actually really interesting to me. So essentially, the actress was ordered to pay her ex-husband $10.3 million, which is $17 million in Kiwi bucks, in compensatory and punitive damages after a jury in Virginia ruled she had defamed him when she wrote an article about being the victim of domestic and sexual abuse. See, Kiwi Herald is kind of leaving out that fact. See, Kiwi Herald, Kiwis, you're not covering this right, Kiwis. You got to get your shit together. She was hoping her liability policy on her New York Marine and General Insurance would have her not footing the bill. However, while the policy covers various types of wrongful conduct, including defamation, TMZ noted that under California law, which governs the policy, an insurance company is not liable to pay if the insured committed wrongful, willful misconduct. Boom. And we're going to get into it. And what's up, people in the chat? I see Midnight's Edge after dark in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you there. So Heard, this is her comments here. So New York Marine is seeking a declaration from the judge. We're going to read that declaration in a second. But I want to get Heard's comments here. This is what she said in the interview. Remember this. Heard said that her and her ex-husband are Hollywood brats for taking their differences to trial. She said, I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how this has been covered and thinking that that this is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand, this is actually much bigger than that. This is not only our First Amendment right to speak. Well, she's totally fucking wrong about that. It had nothing to do with the First Amendment. Defamation is not covered by the First Amendment. She's literally idiotic for even saying that and doesn't understand the law. But she said, she's just astounded by the vitriol aimed at her on social media and Johnny Depp fans lining the street with death threats against her. Every single day, I pass 2, 3, sometimes 6 city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, burn the witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal and energized. Okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is the Korean shit right here. Boobs. That's all I got to say, boobs. Always trying to market to me. I don't know why they target me like that. But yeah, always target me with the boobs. So where's the actual thing? Let's go to the original. Let's do it raw here. We got the actual complaint. You guys know I always go raw. I always go to the original. So let's look at this original here. So this is the complaint. New York Marine General Insurance versus Amber Heard. Complaint for declaratory relief and demand for a jury trial. So this is them bringing a declaratory action. So what's a declaratory action? A declaratory action is literally getting the court to come to a conclusion. And the conclusion they want them to come to is that we don't have to pay shit. Is that the insurance is not responsible for shit. That's what they want the court to say. And what's up, everybody in the chat? Yes, raw for Miss Heard, 100%. No, I'm joking. Never. Miss Heard is somebody that you might want to double bag it for. I mean, have you seen her sexual history? I mean, you probably need a penicillin shot after that one. Not going to lie. Okay, so they're going for declaratory relief. So yada yada, and look, I'm gonna skim this one. It's not very long, but I'm gonna skim it because I wanna hit the highlights here. So they're bringing this in California. It's a mountain controversy, so they can bring it in the federal court. It's over 75K, so they can bring it in federal court. They're bringing it for the District of California because she's in Cali, right? And they want a determination of the respective rights of the parties under the insurance policy issued under the Black Sky Inc., which included Amber Heard as a named insured. Venue is proper, they got jurisdiction. They're a company that's out of New York, with the principal place in New York. Miss Heard is in California. So they issued a policy with a per occurrence limit of liability up to $1 million. So let's start there. See, this is something a lot of people miss. They're like, oh, let's just focus on the complaint. Here's an important fact, people. Even if New York Marine loses this, they are only liable up to the policy limit of $1 million. So no matter what, she is not getting all of her costs paid for by this policy. This is literally a fight over $1 million. So what does the policy cover? And by the way, the policy was issued. So somebody asked, when was the policy issued? Jiggly. It was the policy period is right here. July 18th, 2018 to July 18th, 2019. So that's the policy period. So it's not even clear if the actions will be covered under that policy period. But here you go. The policy includes comprehensive personal liability coverage part, which provides coverage for damages because of bodily injury, property damage, or personal injury caused by an occurrence to which the coverage applies. So it's not bodily injury. She's not injured. Miss Heard is totally fine. That was actually something we discovered at trial. She had no injuries. She had no real injuries. She had no medical reports. She had no damages. She had no property damages. She never claimed property damage for the spilt wine, for anything broken. Probably because it's not even her fucking property. Let's start there. And yes, Andrea, she did have two policies. She did have two policies, but this is this specific policy. We're talking about this one right now. But by the way, the provision about malice applies to both policies. Let's not forget that one right now. So the policy defines personal injury to mean injury other than bodily injury arising out of enumerated offenses included in the policy, which includes oral or written publication of a material that slanders or libels a person or organization, including other forms of defamation, and oral or written publication of material, including other forms of defamation that violates a person's right to privacy. So it does cover defamation. It does cover defamation, but only if you are not the one committing it maliciously. And by the way, good point. So I guess Andrea picked up the fact that Elaine was lying in court regarding the traveler's insurance. Yeah, that's a problem for travelers. I mean, travelers needs to bring that up, though. Once again, that's on their counsel. That's on their counsel. Travelers should bring that up. This is not travelers. Travelers is not a party to this, right? So whatever is going on with travelers, that's a separate action. They're a separate entity. So they've got to bring that up separately. Once again, two policies. This is one of the two. So let's be very clear about that. So the underlying lawsuit was in Fairfax County. We know there was a verdict, and let's scroll down here. So they were asking, so here you go, actually. They were asking them to contribute. They're asking them to contribute to the lawsuit. But they believed at that time when they were being asked to contribute that there was no malice. That there was no malice. But it turns out, based on the awards, the jury found yes, there was actual malice. 25, after answering all these questions, yes, the jury also answered yes to the question, do you find that Mr. Depp has proved by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Yes, he answers yes to that. The jury awarded Depp $10 million and $5 million in punitive. Okay, so boom, right here's the California code. And guess what? The code trumps. The code is going to trump even court rulings. I mean, the statutory code is going to overrule that. So California Insurance Code 533 is very clear. It says an insurer is not liable for a loss caused by the willful act of the insured, but he is not exonerated by the negligence of the insured or the insured agents or others. So what that means is willful equals malicious. Malicious equals willful. Same shit. Same shit, different word. So if this had been pure negligence, they would have still been on the hook. Because it's willful, because malicious, boom, off the line there. And the factual finding is it's caused by a willful act. So the first cause of action is to make sure that they do not have a duty to indemnify her. Indemnified her. So indemnification means you cover somebody. You probably signed an indemnification clause like somewhere. Maybe you're going to like, I don't know, play paintball, or you're going to maybe even go-karts or something like that that could be dangerous. You're probably signing an indemnity clause. Now, I'm going to be real with you, even as corporate counsel, 9 out of 10 times, we corporate attorneys, we know that those indemnity clauses aren't worth the paper they're written on. You can pretty much wipe your ass with that indemnity. But what it does do is it does kind of, I would say, intimidate some people from actually challenging it and taking it to court. Or if they're only injured in like a minor way, they might be like, there's an indemnity. I'm going to have to fight this. I'm not going to take it to court. But if you're grievously injured, you're going to take that indemnity to court. It's going to get tossed 9 times out of 10. Right? So you probably sign up. So what they're saying is we don't want to indemnify her because we got a duty to do that under the contract. We don't have to indemnify her. Second is, they don't want to have to indemnify her for the judgment itself. So there's indemnifying her in general and indemnifying for the judgment. So that's out too. They want to get that thrown out. Then they want to indemnify her for having to defend her. So those are legal costs. Legal costs. Now, I know guys are saying in the chat, yes, some of the costs are paid by travelers. Like Elaine's been paid by travelers. That's true. But an appeal costs money. Appeals aren't free. So this is going to be an issue going forward. It's going to prevent her, if she loses, from going forward. I think she won't have enough money. And declaratory judgment to indemnify her under the conditions, which is conditions, duty of loss, that Herb must help New York Marine by seeing that the enumerated duties are performed, including helping New York Marine with the conduct of suits and to attend hearings and trials. So right here, New York Marine is informed and believes that on such information and belief that after New York Marine accepted Heard's defense, Heard, both individually and through agents, refused to help New York Marine with the conduct of the suit and instructed other defense firms representing Heard not to include defense counsel provided by New York Marine and the ongoing defense of Heard in the underlying action. So she didn't even fucking cooperate. Does that not sound so Heard to you? Does that not sound quintessentially Heard? So New York Marine made damn well, I think it's pretty fucking clear. In fact, that's why I say this is kind of like not as exciting. It's not as sexy because I think they win on this. Look at what they're asking for. A judgment that says that New York Marine has no duty to indemnify Heard for the judgment order, that they have no duty to indemnify Heard for liability, no duty to indemnify Heard on an ongoing basis, to award, here's the other thing, guys, look at this, to award New York Marine its costs. So New York Marine, the insurance company, wants money for filing and for its attorney's fees. So right here, it's possible that Amber Heard may have to pay them back for having to file this shit. That would be some good stuff. That'd be some great stuff. And this is signed by the attorneys for New York Marine with McCormick, Barstow, Shepard, White, and Kareth. So all these guys signed for that. Boom, boom, boom. And they filed that complaint with the court. So, yeah, I think this one, honestly, guys, I think this one is a shoe-in. I really don't see Amber Heard being able to fight that one. I think she's paying for it. I think she's going to, maybe the best case scenario is she doesn't pay their costs, but I think that they're not getting a dime in a New York Marine. Now, Travelers, what can Travelers do? Travelers is an insurance company, right? So could Travelers ask for their money back? Yeah, sure they could. Travelers could try to recoup their costs. I think Travelers may realize it may be blood from a stone. It might be hard to get that back, if especially if they're already paid. They're consented to pay. It's going to be hard to recover that money. You can't take it back from Elaine. You can't be like, hey, Elaine, write me that check back. They've got to get it from Amber. So that's the problem there with Travelers. Could they try, though? Yeah, sure, they could try. They could try. They could certainly prevent paying out anything in the future. And one thing, I haven't seen a copy of the policy for Travelers, but I imagine they'd have much the same protections because it's statutory law in California. So statutory law is statutory law. It applies to all companies, regardless of whether they're one company or another. The contract, the agreement between Heard and the insurance company can't be lower than the statute. And the statute says if you're malicious, you ain't got to pay shit.